All right, guys, today we're talking about training our dog for basic obedience commands. Today we're going to be focusing on sit, stay, and come commands. The stay and the come commands are the most important because it's your dog's safety. They're also some of the more challenging to teach, especially that stay command. So stick around. Also, we're going to teach you how to put these behaviors on cue or command, and then we're going to teach you at the end of the video how to apply some accountability to make sure that your dog will actually do these things for you. Now, don't forget, we are going to be using food rewards at the beginning of our training pretty frequently, but as our training progresses, we're going to titrate those off to where we don't really need them. So the first thing we're going to do, step number one, we need to get some engagement. So I want my dog to be paying attention to me. When they do that, I'm going to say yes, I'm going to back up, and I'm going to give them a food reward, okay? So I want to move around a little bit. I want them to look at me. I say yes, I back up, and I want them to come for a food reward. What this does is it builds up excitement and motivation for the dog to be looking at you and paying attention to you. Yes, like so. This is just kind of our introduction into getting our dog to want to pay attention to us. Once they want to pay attention to us, then we can start teaching them. Number two thing we need to do is do leash pressure work. Again, what we want is our dog to follow the leash and not move against the leash. So if I put some tension into the dog's leash right here, I want to see them start moving with the leash. As soon as they move with the leash, I'm just going to say yes and give a reward, all right? Yes, just like that. You are just looking for a bare movement, a small movement at first. As time goes on, it should get easier. So bring the leash down to your dog's shoulder level, put some tension on it. Yes, as soon as they move with the leash, you say yes, you slack the leash, you give them a reward. A couple repetitions of this. Notice how he's kind of fighting it right there. Wait for him to commit to moving with it. Yes, perfect. If they fight it, just hold your tension, okay? Nothing crazy. You're not choking out your dog or anything. You're just putting some small tension on there for a communication in the future. A little bit of tension right here. He's fighting it, he's fighting. Yes, just like that. So I would be doing that until he's moving with it very easily. Third thing you're gonna be doing is luring. So we're luring into sit, stay, and come today. So when I'm luring, I'm gonna be moving a little bit. I got some food in my hand. He's following the food in my hand. I gently pull my hand up. Yes. He sits, I can say yes, give him a reward, okay? So right here, I lure into a sit. Good, right? So I can use either word, yes or good. So you're gonna lure whatever behavior you're working on, okay? So that was the sit. That's pretty easy. The easiest way to do this, take a couple steps, lure your dog up, good, and give them a reward once they've sat. That's generally gonna work for most people. Some people do like to do it where they have the dog in front of them and they pull their hand up to their belly button, the dog sits, good. That's another way you can do it. Both ways are effective. Remember, you just gotta do repetitions of that, okay? For the stay, you could do it from a sit position or a down position, but there's three things you have to work on with the stay. You've got duration, distance, and distraction. Duration is just the amount of time that your dog's staying in a position. So what I do, I get my dog in a sit or I get them into a down. Once they're in that position, I try to stay pretty stationary where I'm at, because if I start moving around, they might start moving with me. So once they're here, I can say good. If he gets up, I just say no. Use my leash, because we did that leash pressure. Nope. Good. Get them used to staying in a particular location. If I find that when I'm going for a reward like this, good, that he were to get up and follow me, I might need to change my body up to be positioned like so he's not moving as much, good, until I get him used to staying in a position for a little bit longer than he's used to staying, okay? So I get him in a sit or down, working on duration. I try not to move too much myself, so I'm just standing, in a general location. Once he's used to staying here for a longer period of time, then the second thing I do is I work on distance. That's distance from him to me. So what I do, I've got a 6-foot leash. This is what I focus on. I'll just back up like so. If he gets up, that means he's not ready for that distance. So I bring him back right here. You notice that leash pressure helps me move him there, right? Good. I say good, I reward him right here. If I can't do the full 6 feet, I just do maybe a step. Good. Nope. I do a step, he got up. I do a step. Good. I can step forward, he's good to go, right? So maybe just one step at a time is what I need to do at first, and you can kind of just move with this fluidly right here. as you're doing this, right? If he gets up, good. We just have him go right back to where he was. Jasper, down. I'm actually gonna have him go down because he's doing a little bit better with the down position. You might find that in a sit, your dog's having a harder time, or a down might be a little bit better. So you need to pick the command that's gonna be better for you, the behavior, right? So I'm doing that duration. I start working on my distance where I back up, say good, come forward with the reward, back up again, get to the end of the leash here. If he gets up, I know he's not ready for that yet. Nope. Good, right? Use my leash to help me get him back down. Good, reward right here, back up. Good, step forward, reward, back up. So this is the distance, okay? Repetitions of this, and then you'll be able to back up, drop your leash, be comfortable with him laying right there. Now you have your distraction, which is the last piece. For distraction, the first thing we focus on is being able to walk all the way around the dog. So I back up to about this distance, I start moving around the dog. Generally, dogs are gonna start getting up or wondering what you're doing. So once I get to like, you know, this section of like, basically what I do is I sector out his body. I imagine there's a line going this way and a line going that way, okay? So I have 4 sectors of his body. So once I start working from his front to the middle of his side here, that's one sector. So I'll do this right here. Good, I'll say good, come in and reward. Then I'll go to the other sector on the other side of the front of his body. So I walk across the front of his body like so. I come in like to where this sector right here is. Good, I say good. If he gets up, all I do right here, just use my leash to help him go back down. Good, reward, right? So I work these sectors, good. And as I'm going, you know, through the sector on the side of his body, I'll start getting to the back sector here. So I'll move back a little bit. He stays in good position. I'll say good, I'll reward. Then I'll work all the way around this way, like so. Get to this side, good, reward if he stays down. If he gets up, I just use my leash, good. Help him back down, no big deal. I keep doing this, and this might take a couple sessions or a couple days until I can walk completely around him, like so. Then once I can do that, I say good, okay? And reward right there, all right? So that's gonna be your stay, but you know, you might have to do lots of repetitions of that. The stay is generally one of those things most dogs struggle with the most at first. All right, so we've talked about the sit, we've talked about the stay as far as our luring goes. Now we're gonna be doing our come luring for the come command. So with this, all I generally do is I start backing up. The dog, because we have engagement, will start naturally following me. So I have a lure right here, and I'll just pull it right to my belly button whenever I stop. Good, reward. Get another lure, I start backing up. They're gonna generally start following me. Lure right here, good, reward. Okay, I can back up. Bring a little lure right here, good, reward. Let me show you a quick tip and trick as well, something else I like to do. I'll take a food reward, I'll toss it on the ground so he moves away from me, and then he'll move back to me and I'll reward him again. So I'm getting him used to going away from me and coming back to me. Once that's pretty fluid, pretty easy, now I'm ready to go on to the next step of our progression here. Step number 4, which is gonna be putting all these behaviors on cue or command. So this is the part where we're going to condition each behavior to the cue or command we're gonna be using. So the first one being sit, all you're gonna do is you're gonna say the word sit before you do the lure motion. So if I were moving like this, I would say sit, and then I would lure, yes. And then he can come get the food. When I say yes, he can get up and come get the food. If I say good, he's gotta stay where he's at, okay? So again, I would just move like this. Before I would lure, I would say sit, I would lure, good. Free. Before I do another repetition, I'd wanna let him know we can move around freely now, right? Sit, yes. So that's how you're gonna do the sit. Again, very simple. Say the cue or command about a second before you actually do the lure. Now we're gonna do the same thing for stay. So all we would do, we would get him into the behavior that we're doing the stay for. We would say stay, stay, and then we would do our sequence of duration, distance, distraction. So he's hanging out right here. I back up, I do my walk around. He gets up right here, just like we did before. A little bit of leash helps me get him back down, okay? So then I'd want to do another repetition. Now that he did it great, good. Free. So that's what I'd be doing in that situation, putting the stay on cue. So I move around, I put him into whatever position we're gonna be doing it in, which would be the down, stay. I tell him stay. Now I'm gonna do my duration, distance, distraction routine, where I back up, do my walk around. He gets up like this. Again, I just use my leash. Got to get a good repetition. So I would say stay, do my walk around. Good, nope. Good, got to get a good repetition, right? So this is where you got to have that patience. Good. Repetition, repetition of that, then your cue will be solid with the dog. Last one's gonna be that come. So you're gonna say come, then you're gonna do your luring for come. So get yourself ready. Come, back up, back up, back up. Good. Come, back up, back up, back up. Lure, 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 right here. Good. So in order to have that cue or command for that specific obedience, you have to be consistent. You have to do repetitions where you give your cue, whether it's sit, stay, come, or whatever else, then you do the lure motion that your dog's already familiar with. Repetitions of that sequence is what conditions these specific behaviors to that cue. All right, the fifth step is gonna be accountability. So now we're gonna get a little bit more serious with our leash corrections for the dog disobeying us. So if we were walking and I said sit, and he doesn't sit, I would say no, tug and release on the leash, all right? Free. Sit. Good. Stay. So now we've got to stay. We're gonna do our walk around. If he were to get up, I would slide down the leash, say no, give a little tug on the leash. Come. Good. So, not really needed in these specific situations, but as you go through your daily training with your dog, as soon as they disobey you, at that point is when you would say no. You would slide down to your leash, whatever distance you need to, no, tug and release on your leash. Once you've got your leash accountability, you could go into remote collar conditioning if you wanted to, but not always needed depending on the goals that you have for your dog. All right, the sixth thing and final thing that we're gonna do for our training is generalization of this. Once you have all of this pretty solid at your normal training area or your house or whatever, now you'd be wanting to take this out into town or at places that you want to go to. So think about local parks, think about restaurants, think about farmers markets or festivals that you want to go to. You're going to think about places you want to go with your dog or that would be beneficial for your dog to be exposed to. You go to these places and you would make sure that your dog is still able to perform what we've taught it at your house or wherever you're working at. So we've got engagement, we've got leash pressure, we've got our luring, we've got putting everything on cue or command for what you've been luring, we've got your accountability, then we've got generalization. So that's how you're going to teach your dog these basic obedience behaviors and anything else. So let us know in the comments below what you think and what's useful for you.